YouTube, it's your girl Jasmine, and today I'm here to discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 4, Episode 4. So let's go ahead and hop right up in this thing. That was a bit dramatic. Hi guys, that was a bit dramatic. Beauty in every shade. So anyway, the episode opened up with Tiffany and Melody. They were at Melody's house. I don't know why Tiffany went to Melody's house. I feel like it was for another reason. But they were just, having girl talk a little bit, catching up, I guess. And then Tiffany brought up about how they went to Martell's book signing and asked Melody why her and the children weren't there. So Melody's like, oh, well, he emailed me 2 days before. Well, I think she said a day. She was like a day or two before and asked me where the children's hair are going to be done and yada, yada, yada. And let's pause right there. So I find it very stupid. I was going to say strange, but it's not strange. It's just stupid, right? I find it very stupid that Martell would email Melody instead of calling her or texting her. I don't know the situation as far as like if Melody has him blocked and that's why he emailed her, but I think that's really stupid. Like, it's a weekend that you don't have your children and you are going to email the mother of your children to ask, can she bring them somewhere on her week? So I think that was dumb of him to email her instead of calling her or texting her. Well, no, she's not blocked, because remember at the end of episode 3, he was calling, like trying to figure out where they were and if they were going to come. So we know that he's not blocked. So he emailed her. I think that that's very stupid. If one of my children's fathers emailed me about the child, I will ignore the email and just pretend like I never got it. And then I will follow up with a call that says, please do not email me if you if you want to discuss a situation, please call me or text me. Like, why are you emailing me? Don't do that. That's so petty. Granted, Martell and Melody can both be petty. Martell very petty. Melody petty when provoked, right? So, but like, I just think about like myself in that situation, and I would just be like, the fuck? Like, why are you emailing me? Like, call me, text me. Like, if it's about our children, and just because, that doesn't mean that it's a toxic situation. Like, just because you won't, like, my child's dad and the situation is not toxic. Even if it were, I still don't want you emailing me. I just think it's very weird and stupid to email someone about the child when you can just call them or text them, because I get it, like the email is kind of like the same thing, but to me it just rings petty, like, oh, I'm being petty, so fuck you then. How about that? So I'm curious to know if Melody, I guess Melody didn't respond back to the email. But anyway, so Tiffany goes into, oh, well, he looks so sad and he seemed so sad. And I hate when people do that, because Tiffany, I don't care what you saw or what you think you saw of his emotional. Of course he was sad because he wanted to have his children there for the book signing and they didn't show up. But it's from Melody's, where Melody stands. So, okay, let him be sad. I was sad many a days. And forget all of that stuff, right? It just wasn't his week. And he emailed her a day before, a day or two. The mature thing to do, you knew this book signing was coming up. It didn't just spark up. So the mature thing to do would have been to contact her weeks in advance, or even if you just found out, the moment you found out and you knew it wasn't your weekend, you should have called her and it should have been a conversation and you guys could have figured it out right there on the phone. But you wanted to be petty and you sent an email, and that's why your children weren't there. So no sympathy. So I didn't like that Tiffany was like having that sympathy for Martell, and you can tell like Melody like was like she was on the defense and was like, no, like, I could sense like her like automatically on the defense when Tiffany was talking, and she was like, and she was getting her point across. She was like, and you know me and this, that, and the other, like, I'm not going to tell no lies type of thing. She said that because Tiffany was like, oh, because Tiffany tried to do this. Well, there's 3 sides to every story. It's his, hers, and the truth. And Melody was like, I feel like really what Melody really wanted to say was, bitch. But she was like, well, with me, you always gonna get the truth. So, like, come again, what you want, say something else, and I'm gonna have an answer. So I really like that Melody stood her ground. And, you know, again, if Martell was sad, so what? You know, it's unfortunate for him, okay? Moving right along. Tisha and Kimmy. So Kimmy invites Tisha to her house, and they have the discussion about how her cousin Keke was at Melody's pajama party telling her business, right, to people who she don't talk to like that, right? So Kimmy is an amazing communicator. Like, her communication skills can be taught. Like, she could literally teach verbal communication 101. I just made up a class. Thank me later, colleges, when you're going to teach verbal communication 101. Make sure you cut me my check. So she's telling Tisha, like, you know, it was a little weird that you and Destiny weren't there and Keke was. So it makes me believe that Melody and Keke don't have a relationship. So she's like, and Keke, you know, they were talking about you and Keke started talking about you. Kimmy was very honest. I will say that the conversation, the way they displayed it on TV, it was very short. So I would have liked to hear more of the conversation and like maybe more of what was said. Tisha did seem a bit shocked because she told Kimmy that she thought her and Keke were in a good place. So this comes by surprise. Like I said last week, that is like no loyalty there. Don't ever, first of all, if I'm not present, don't talk about me. And if my name comes up and you're my family or friend, you don't say anything, okay? You keep quiet and you let whoever do the talking, okay? If you feel it in your heart to defend me, go right ahead. But you definitely don't insert my business in front of people who I don't really care for like that, who are going to use this information against me later. Keke was out of line. And when she was asked a question, she just should have said, I don't know, you'll have to ask Tisha. That's what I would have done. I would be like, oh, I don't know, you have to ask Tisha. Do you know how many times I'm at work and we kind of have like a lot of drama at work? We do have a lot of drama at work. I'm never in any other drama because, you know, this is a true story. When stuff comes to me or like somebody be like, did you hear or whatever? I'm always be like, no. Even if I heard it, I always say no. Like, because I just think about how I'm a grown adult and I just don't want my name in anything. I don't want to be like, oh, Jasmine thinks so too, or Jasmine says so too, or Jasmine says she, like, no. If I'm not gonna lie, I like to hear the drama. I like to hear the drama because I'm never in the drama. So I like to hear it, but I don't want to be a part of it. So I'm listening, but I'm not going to engage. And I've actually, this is a true story. Somebody has actually, you know, was expressing to me their dismay, dislike for another person. And I literally looked at them and said, well, so-and-so is my so-and-so, so I'm not going to say anything bad about the person. But I'm listening to you. That's what I said. And honestly, I didn't even really want to hear it because, you know, somebody walking by could easily just be like, oh yeah, Jasmine and so-and-so, we're talking about so-and-so. And it's like, no, Jasmine wasn't doing anything. Somebody else was talking about so, but I let people vent and talk. I'm definitely a person that people can talk to. So people are always talking and venting to me. And, you know, I feel like I give honest and good feedback. And, you know, I let people know, like, you really shouldn't be talking about this person, or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. I'm very honest. I try to be as communicative like Kimmy as possible. Kimmy has inspired me to be a better communicator. Anyway, we get into the episode where Maurice, Marceau, and Louis, they meet up to have their conversation about Marceau, about the things that Louis has said about Marceau. And I guess Maurice is just there to be a mediator. So they meet up at Black and they start having the conversation. And I like Maurice. I like the role that Maurice played because he pointed out when each person was wrong. And at the end of the conversation, Marceau didn't really want to apologize, but he Maurice was trying to hold Marceau accountable by saying, like, do you feel like you should apologize? You owe him an apology, yada, yada, yada. So basically, in the last episode, I mentioned how Louis was basically like trying to act like he knew Marceau, right? And I said then, I was like, well, they probably were just like, they knew of each other. And Marceau did say, well, no, we never broke bread together. You knew of me. Like, if I see you, like, hand, but you didn't know anything about me, which I called that last week, right? I knew it. So, Marceau, I think I said Maurice, but I meant Marceau. Marceau also just really didn't like the fact that Louis was speaking on his marriage. So he expressed that, and he just he stood his ground, like where he stood. Like, it was no backpedaling. He was just like, because you don't know me, you shouldn't speak on that. Like, that's how I feel. That's the way it is. Yada, yada, yada. Louis, I felt like Louis wasn't being as honest as he probably wanted to be. I feel like he would go back to his wife and like act all like tough, like, oh, I told him this, or I could have said this, I could have done that. But really, he didn't really do anything, and he was kind of like, man, like, I don't know. I don't want to say he was being childish, but I don't know. I feel like he just wasn't saying what he really wanted to say, because his energy was so much different last week when he was talking to Tiffany. But then this week it was like, oh, like, whatever, okay. And then he even to Marcel's face, he said one thing, but then he went in his confessional and said another. So I don't know, but I thought that was a good conversation. I feel like they still really didn't get anywhere other than like Marceau standing in the pain about, hey, don't talk about my marriage, don't talk about me because you don't know me, and which I totally agree with. Like, if you don't know me, don't talk about me. Like, if you, and we don't know each other, like, there's plenty of people that I know, but like, I wouldn't consider us to be friends. Like, I know a lot of people, but I'm not friends with all of those people. Like, some of those are my associates. Some of those are just like my Instagram friends. Like, oh, we keep in contact through Instagram. But like, just because I keep in contact with you through Instagram doesn't mean you know me. Like, so don't, you wouldn't go around speaking on my relationship because you don't know me like that. You just know me because of the pictures that I post, and like, you liking my pictures or me liking your pictures. And we've just built a relationship off that, but not a strong enough bond for you to speak on things in my personal life. So I'm totally in agreement with Marceau when it comes to that. And I'm just kind of like not a fan of Louis. I don't know. Anyway, Martell and Melnica, Martell's coming. I'm not sure if the cookbook is already out, but he was doing a cookbook, and he's just showcasing a lot of the things that he's working on, which was a cookbook and the book with the children and some more stuff. And he basically was redoing the photo because he had a photo of him with the shirt off, and he felt like that wasn't it wasn't promoting to all demographics, that it was just promoting maybe to the ladies, because like a guy maybe wouldn't want a cookbook with another guy without a shirt on it, which I think was a good call. I think if he wanted to show his body, there was another way to maybe display it. But I wonder if Martell really cooks, No, I'm not going to buy the cookbook. But I'm a little intrigued by it, but I don't think that I would buy it just because I'm not really a cookbook type of person. Maybe if they did like a e-cookbook, like an online thing where I can just go online and, like look and read the recipes and decide if I want to make it. But as far as opening up an actual cookbook, I don't think that I would do that. Just because I don't want to. I'm more of I'd rather go online and do it. But yeah, so Melnica is talking to him, and they're talking about how from now on they're going to plan things when he has the kids. And one thing I forgot to talk about in my video last week that I really admired about Melnica was I really admired her stance on co-parenting. She, told Martell straight up, well, Melody isn't obligated to bring the kids, and this is, part of the hard truths of when you're co-parenting and when your family isn't together, that, you only get the kids like on your week. So that week it was pretty much her week. And I feel like she was she was a positive reinforcement in his life. Because I think maybe where, I don't know this to be true, but maybe where his mistress would egg him on, like maybe in like petty stuff. I don't know that she did, but That's just a vibe that I get from her. I feel like he now has Monica as a positive reinforcement, as like, no, you know what, that's not cool, or no, you shouldn't expect this because that's just not the way it is. So I think that with him having these positive influences in his life, maybe it'll help him become a better person to co-parent with. Because I don't know him personally to be like a better man. I don't know that he's not a good man just because he cheated on his wife and broke up his family. I don't know if that makes you not a good man. So I'm just going to say a better co-parent, to where he doesn't like expect, or, I think it's okay to expect things when you have a good relationship with the person. So let's take me, for example. So me and my youngest child, me and his dad are together. So if we were to like part ways and say that this is no longer, and, I would want to like keep a good relationship, because let's say something was coming up, I would want to be able to reach out and be like, hey, I know this is your week or this is your weekend, but I have this going on, and, are you interested in maybe switching something around, or, you coming with him so that way you still have your time, but y'all are also going to be with me. I would like to have I would want to have, that good type of co-parent relationship. So I think that, with Martell's positive influence, that it'll maybe help him just be a little more, plantingful. He'll maybe plan better and just, have a better idea of his role and Melody's role, and how they can become the best co-parents they can be for their children who love them both dearly. So then Stormy and Tiffany, they meet up and they have a conversation. And one thing that I forgot to mention, I really like when Melody and Tiffany were at her house, Melody's house, and Melody told Tiffany, like, oh, I love when she said this. She was telling her, like, everybody doesn't have to be friends. Like, just because I'm friends with somebody doesn't mean that you have to be friends with them. So, just basically as long as we're cordial. So as long as we walk in the room and we like, hey, oh, how you doing? Okay, good. Bye, girl, type of thing. But we don't have to be friends. Like, we don't have to go get our nails done together. We don't have to go, travel together. We could just be cool. I have a lot of people that I'm just cool with. And I have people who I was like really, really good friends with, who now, we're not really good friends. Nothing happened except life, time, worlds just are different, but we're cool. So like, I can still hit somebody up today that I was really good friends with and be like, hey girl, just checking on you. How you doing? We're not like friends, but we're cool. So I totally agree with Melody said, like, you ain't gotta be friends. You could just be cool. Like, I felt that. Cause I do kind of feel like maybe Tiffany feels like she has to be friends with these people. And, it's like in real life, you're not really friends with them. You only friends with them because y'all film a show. And I wonder if Tiffany has friends. Hold up. So Tiffany and Stormy was talking, and Stormy was like, I don't know if I got this wrong or not, but I could have sworn Tiffany was like, Stormy was like, you 34, and Tiffany was like 33. So I don't know. So y'all tell me if Tiffany is 33, because did I mishear? Did she say 43? And I think she said 33. But if Tiffany's 33, I cannot believe that Tiffany is 33. I feel like her demeanor just feels so much older. Like, not that she looks old, but just like the way she dresses, her hair, it just feels old and outdated. Sorry, but that's just so. If she's 33, when Stormy said 33, I'm like, when she told Stormy 33, I'm like, what? No. So that's interesting. But her and Stormy seemed to have a really good conversation. She opened up to Stormy about her past and about her divorce and how she just wanted something different. Was that with Stormy or was that with Melody? Shit, now I'm confused. I can't remember. Anyway, she was saying that basically, I think it was what the conversation was with Melody. She was like, she didn't want to say it direct like this. The conversation was with Melody. Yes. Okay. So she didn't want to be direct and just saying, I wanted a man with more money. Instead, she was like, I wanted something different. I wanted something different. Because she doesn't want to put it out there that she wanted a man with more money. And it's okay. I think if you desire, I think as a woman, if you desire, because in a sense, I get where she's coming from. Like, it's not that you want, I'm not going to speak for her. How about this? I'll speak for myself. So I can understand how a woman doesn't want a man who's broke. Like, obviously, in my life right now, I honestly would not date a man who doesn't have a car. I mean, because where I am in my life, I'm 32 years old. To me, that's just the basics. And unless you live in a place like New York City where you don't need a car, I think that just shows a little bit of irresponsibility. Like, you're a grown ass man and you don't have a car. It just sounds like the basics. So yeah, I wouldn't want anybody that's broke, because I'm not broke. I work. So yeah, you need to work. I don't want to be taking care of anybody. But I'm not sure with Tiffany, because I'm pretty sure the guy she was married to worked and everything. He just didn't have as much money. So maybe they lived a very normal life, like a simple life, and she wanted a little bit more, which would make sense that if she really is 33, because when she was married or whatever, that would have been in her 20s. So in her 20s, she might have desired something like, I'm sick of this little simple country life. Like, I want something bigger. Just not knowing when you're, in your 20s, what life really is. Because it doesn't really seem like her and Lewis live a grand, fabulous life. It seems like they're just, the average couple, the average people, two people who probably get up and go to work, and they make enough money to take care of their family and to do X, Y, and Z, and to save and to travel, but just normal, not outrageous. Not when I think of outrageous money, like like Beyonce, the Kardashians, anybody who's a millionaire, or some millionaires, they live a simple life. But either way, that was the conversation. Oh, I'm so mad that I just thought about that at the end of my video versus in the beginning, because that's what they were talking about. So I'm probably going to just like film this part over again. So yeah, then her and Stormy, they were talking about their lives and just like kind of trying to get to know one another. And then at the end of the conversation, Tiffany basically like asked Stormy, so are we friends? Are we cool? And Stormy was like, yeah, we're getting to know each other. And you could tell that Tiffany was like taken aback, like, whoa. We just had this long meetup and now you're like not even saying we're friends. So that kind of puts off that Tiffany's like desperate for friends. I don't know that to be true, but it kind of makes it seem that way. So anyway, let's get to the best part. All right, so Tisha meets up with Keke. So Keke comes to Black, and her and Tisha, they have a conversation. So before I start, I want to say you could really tell that Tisha really values family and friends. She does seem like a person who's like a little bit like a friend who's a little bit more needy, but she values her friendship, and she's probably like a good ass friend, So Tisha's like, oh, I heard you were at Melody's pajama party and you were talking about me. Immediately, Keke goes, well, you were talking about me and that hurt me. What, bitch? When? So now her and Tisha are going back and forth. Tisha's like, I told you that stuff wasn't true. So if you want to believe it, believe it. She's like, well, you apologized for it. And Tisha's like, again, well, I told you those things weren't true. She was like, I only told them now, but it makes you wonder what, because then Tisha was like, well, because you were going to Melody and Martell's home, I felt like I had to tell them whatever happened. We don't know what happened. As a viewer, we don't know. So she was like, well, yeah, that really hurt me that you told my business. So I wonder what happened with Keke that Tisha had to tell Melody and Martell because she was going to their house. Because I'm trying to think, like, in what scenarios, if I'm bringing my sister or my cousin to somebody else's house, what do I need to tell these people who I'm about to bring into my sister, into what do I have to tell these people about my sister or my cousin just because I'm bringing that person to their house. So it makes my mind wonder, like, girl, what easy? What easy? What we got to know? Tell us. So I'm just so curious, right? So that was stupid. I just feel like Keke's response was really childish. And then Tisha brings up how, well, that was 5 years ago. So I said something about you 5 years ago. You never let it go. So now here we are in 2022, and you're talking about me because I told someone something about you 5 years ago. Is this a checkmate type situation? What is it? Keke, what the hell? Like, no, just come in there and be accountable. Well, they were talking about you, so I just said, let Tisha talk and explain herself about how she feels. And then you say, well, I'm sorry if, no, you don't ever say, I'm sorry if. You just say, I'm sorry. I will never tell your business again. I won't say anything you told me in their presence without you being there. Because the truth is she really shouldn't have said nothing. Like, if they were talking about Tisha, which they shouldn't have been talking about Tisha, but she should have just stayed out of it. And when Melody asked her, oh, well, do you know anything? You could have just been like, no, I don't. You'll have to ask her because I really don't know anything. You don't have to chime in to be a part of. I'd rather not be a part of, because I'm just grown. Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and I don't talk about people, because I do. But I do talk about people. But I'm also the type of person where if it came back, yeah, I'll tell you what I said. And if I meant it, then I'm not going to apologize. If you're offended, I don't know that I'm going to apologize if you're offended, to be honest, because it depends what is said. If I say like, oh, you stink or something, which I don't, but, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry that, I told so-and-so that you stink instead of just telling you. So I do apologize. And next time in the future, I will come to you and tell you that you stink. But if it's something like, I don't know. I was trying to think of something. If it's something else. If it's something like, oh, so-and-so doesn't have a good work ethic. Let's say that. I wouldn't apologize to someone for saying they don't have a good work ethic, because that's how I feel. And I'm basing that on what I see. So those are the differences. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. It was the Tisha and Keke thing was a lot deeper, because then Tisha got into, she's like, well, let's just cut ties. And I feel like Tisha is that type of person where she gets mad and she definitely speaks off her emotion, because she did that with Kimmy at the reunion. Okay, well, we don't got to be friends. We could just be family. Like, so it's like she gets passionate about that type of stuff, and she just speaks from emotion, and you could just kind of tell the hurt and stuff. And then at the end, Tisha calls Kimmy. She's like, I just got done talking to Keke and I'm so shaken up. And then Keke walks over, which I feel like that part just seems a little bit staged. I feel like they maybe could have edited that better, because it's like, it basically looked like somebody told Keke to walk outside. And then the way Keke was just standing there, it's like she was waiting on a cue to come over. So when she went up to Tisha outside, Tisha's on the phone and was like, hold on, Keke just walked up. And then Keke says, who are you on the phone talking about me to? Or something like that. And then the episode ends. So yeah, it was a good episode. We got some transparency. This is the new word that's Love and Marriage Huntsville. Them in that word, transparency. That's the Love and Marriage Huntsville word. So yeah, it's a good episode. I'm looking forward to next week. And that's all I got. I need to review Candy and the Gang. Once again, I did not review it last week, but I did watch the episode this morning. So everybody have a happy Monday. I'll see y'all next week, and toodles.